minutes with the realtor. Rockin' 80 minutes with the realtor. Rockin' 80 minutes with the realtor.
So here's an update on financing for homes and the different loans out there and what they're doing. So let me give you the bad news first, but let me preface this with it's going to be great news, okay? But first, the bad news, and that is VA and USDA loans are not doing good at all right now, especially USDA. USDA, we're seeing even as high as rates between 3.6% to even as high as 4.5%. Another loan that's not doing great right now are jumbo loans. Jumbo loans are programs for homes that are around 600,000 or more. Typically in the past, you'd have to put down a minimum of about 15%, no more. Now you're looking at least 20%. And so let me give you an example. Saw a client, purchase price was $700,000, so loan amount was $560. That's with 20% down. So with 20% down, they still locked in at a rate of 5%. It's a pretty high rate, okay? So those are jumbo loans versus if you look at the more conforming loan is right around 3.6%. So a lot better going that route. But here's the great news. And David Albrecht, the Chief Investment Officer of Fleet Assets Management, says this: the bazooka the Fed deployed has now turned into an M1 tank. Expect more Fed action. They'll do whatever it takes, okay? So it's kind of like the US economy has had a heart attack in a sense, and the government is trying to do surgery while the feds are coming in and removing all the blockages that stand in the way. That makes sense, and that's all to bring back liquidity. So what does that mean? Well, the 2.3 trillion relief that's coming in, some of that is earmarked for the market. So here's the great news part of this whole thing. If you're a buyer, we're seeing conventional rates in the threes, even as low as 3.25%. FHA is looking awesome. It's looking excellent. Quick example of that, saw a client, $150,000 loan, credit score of around 660, not a great credit score. Put down the typical 3.5% on an FHA loan, and they locked in at 3.25%. That is awesome. That's ridiculous. For a number of reasons, really. Let's say you're at the upper end of your price range, got a contract on a home, the seller is not willing to pay any closing costs. We can now go to your lender, ask them to pay the closing expenses in exchange for taking the rate up to 3.5, 3.75. So now you're still locked in at a rate in the threes, and our lender is now paying your closing costs, your closing expenses, leaving you more money in your pocket. So there you have it. That's your market good news for the day. All right, y'all, be strong.
We're not gonna